So once again, welcome guys. I hope you're all having a good afternoon. And today we are going to look at access to SRHR information, commodities, and abortion care services. And I am just sharing a screen of the program, and I shared this on your mail so that we just have like a smooth program all the way. So I'm going to follow this very strictly. And I hope you guys can hear me all. Enos, can you hear me? I can see you.
All right, I can get you.
You can get me, right?
Yes, I'm getting you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'm gonna take us through the introduction, the team, and the overview of the discussion. And the host here we have Dance into Space Foundation. Dance into Space Foundation is a creative group that we have based in Chaka Road, Hurlingham area. And what we do is theater for advocacy. We look at dance, we look at SRHR in general, and we use creative means of dance and film to like pass the message and to just put this message in a way that it can be digested by other people. So we have Matthew Ondiege here. You've seen him. That is our creative director. We have other members of the team who are joining in a few. And so if I let Matthew just say hi on behalf of Dance into Space, then we can look at introductions from the partners. So Matthew, this is your opportunity to shine.
Asante sana, Mandela. Yes, it's an opportunity to shine, really. Thank you very much for enabling this. Na Wakenya wenzangu hamjamboni, na tumaini kwamba mko sawa nyote. Sisi pia tuko sawa, ila tu tumefungiwa hapo na corona. Tuko Nairobi, so welcome to Nairobi virtually. Na kile ambacho tunafanya vile nani amesema hapa Nairobi ni kwamba sisi ni wasanii, tunatumia mbinu za dance and also tunatumia mbinu za theater kama kuigiza ili kuweza kuhamasisha jamii na pia kufundisha watu kutokana na mambo ambazo tumejipata nazo, tunajiita existential issues. Kwa hivyo sisi kwa sasa tuna mradi ambao tunaita Breaking Barriers, ambayo inajumuisha watu wana ulemavu na wale ambao hawana ulemavu. And I hope it is okay to speak in Kiswahili because I'm trying to make myself sound authentic. So we actually work with persons with disability in our mixed ability program, where we combine dancers with disability to work together with those without disability so that we can address issues that concern people and also human rights issues. And that's why we have this program. Today we wanted to share with partners and friends and potential partners what it is that we are doing in the area of access and abortion, which affects those persons with disability. So I'll leave it that way for now, and I'm looking forward to hear so much from the participants. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much for shining on us with Kiswahili. So we're going to look at the partners, and they say ladies first, but men before. I don't know which one we're going to use, but alphabetically, let me just use the participant list here. I see Enos followed by Jodida, then Mercy, then Steven. You're gonna wrap it up for us for the introduction. So Enos, just say hi, and Jodida, you can say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much. I'm Enos Ogada from Kisumu, and I'm happy to engage with you, to learn more from you, and also to hear how much that you have for us today. Only that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I haven't heard what you do, and maybe just share with us that. Enos, can you hear me? Okay, Jadida. Hi, Jadida.
Hi, Nelson. How are you?
I'm okay. Tell us about how your week is going. Tell us about have 15 seconds to shine.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jedida Lemaron. I am an SRHR and MHM
Let the
training
next
consultant.
the next participant take over. I'm getting back on you in a short while.
Sorry.
Thank you, Enos.
Okay.
Jadida.
Okay, I am Jedida Lemaron. I am an SRHR and MHM training consultant. I'm also the executive director of the Malkia Initiative. At the Malkia Initiative, we work to provide a platform for adolescent girls and young women, and also older women to meaningfully engage in issues around SRHR, menstrual health, and GBV, mostly the harmful practices like FGM and child marriage, which is prevalent in Kajiado County. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Mercy.
Hi, Nelson. How are you?
I'm okay. Nice to hear from you.
Good afternoon. Sorry.
Good afternoon to you.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Marcia Panja. I wear many hats, but I'll talk about the hat that has brought me here. I'm a health and policy consultant. I also do gender. I also do a lot of research and monitoring and evaluation. And most of my work recently has been empowering young girls and boys on things to do with reproductive health, things to do with sexual reproductive health rights, things to do with advocacy, lobby and advocacy, how to civically engage at different levels, from national all the way to the lowest, to the village level, and just to ensure that they occupy the space that is there for them. So when they say nothing for the youth without the youth, I am here to actually actualize that, and in linking and in networking and generally just capacity building. So in short, that is me, Mercy. Thank you.
You have a lovely portfolio. Finally, we have the gentleman who wraps up our introduction, Steve. Stephen Ougo, your time to shine.
Hi, Nelson.
Hi.
Hi, okay. So my name is Steve Ougo, and I'm an SRHR advocate. As Mercy has also said, I also wear so many hats, but what exactly that has brought me here is, okay, I'm so into the medical space, also on the health system strengthening. But again, I also champion for the rights of young people, the sex minorities, to access quality and timely services. Yes, and yeah.
Steve, I think you might have dropped. Steve?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about my network is kind of shaky. So okay, I work with that way. Yes. So basically I work with Youth Advisory Council. Now Youth Advisory Council, actually our main objective is to fight, or is actually to fight for the rights of young people and making sure that they're able to, access the decision-making table, where they can be able to be part of the decision-making progress from the drafting process until the implementation part. Yeah. So basically, it's just to represent young people on the youth agenda.
Okay. Lovely. We're going to hear more about that from you in the course of the discussion. So, like we said in the mail, the discussion is following a discourse of 4 creative pieces that we had towards the beginning of the year, and we're just going to run them. We're going to run the clips and just have a discussion revolving around the 2 clips. There are 2 clips that we're having now, then we'll have 2 clips for another session. And for now, they haven't been uploaded, but there's a link available. The links that I sent you are the trailers, but if you allow me, I'm going to run them here. The first, we can have the first and the second in succession, or we can have the first talk about it, we can have the second. It depends on, like, what do you guys think? Matthew?
I think just one by one.
Okay.
Yeah, is that okay?
Right.
Is it possible that way? Yeah, just one by one.
Okay, so I'm going to share the links. I'm going to share the links to these videos in the chat box, so that we can all have access to them. Maybe during our free time, just explore more about it. So the first one, it's called Can't Reach and Won't Reach, and we are going to explore how this name came to be, and we'll just talk about it more as after it ends, that is. So enjoy. I'm going to put it full screen.
Is there sound, Nyimbi?
Can you guys hear any sound? Is there any sound?
No. Utafanyaje?
Because from my side, I can hear sound. Let me see here. Anything yet?
No, it's not playing.
So it's playing without sound.
Yeah, it's playing without the sound, but the video is there.
Jogo kugore.
Aya, sound imefika.
Kondondo dichuori odak.
Ere kaka mama ni dhi tiyo gi kondom?
Okaw.
Kineno ka mando daktari osewacha cha ni gikawa kawa.
Daktari nyalo dhi to kod gik ka.
Great, great. So I don't know if it was it seamless from your side?
No, maybe you want to do it again. I don't know. What do the others think?
Kindly.
Okay, let me just run it again, sir. Here we go.
With
Here
sound.
we go. Yeah.
Chukua.
Jogo kogore. Mama nodwaro mondo giti kondom to dhi chuore odag.
Ere kaka mama ni dhi tiyo gi kondom?
Okaw.
Kineno kamano daktari osewachacha ni gikawa kawa.
Daktari nyalo dhi to kodgi kitanda.
Aha. Was it better? Matthew?
Iko sawa. That was cool. That was a smooth second run.
So can we talk about this, or can we run the second?
No, I think what you can do is if people have one or two things, emerging issues, questions, around the video, around the storyline, around the people, and even a few questions on the thematic issues. I think we can take this chance and just discuss this a bit, and then we move to the next one. Yeah.
Sure. So let us hear from you guys.
Yeah, reactions.
Anything that you saw in the video, anything that you saw that stood out for you, maybe. Cynthia, I see Enos, I see James, Jedida, Mercy, Stephen. Any of you can just like pick out something you saw, let us hear from you.
Hey, Nelson.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, please speak. We can hear you.
Okay. So the video is about access to SRH services and amenities, access to SRHR services, more so among the PWDs, people with disability. So yeah, it actually touched the reality in the ground, what exactly is happening. I believe people with disability have an equal right, just like any other person, when it's come to access to both services and opportunities. And these what is it called? I mean, is it 5% or 10%? I've forgotten, but there's a percentage that has been passed by there's a bill that I've forgotten. Yeah, it actually 9% of the opportunities should be allocated for people with disability. I've forgotten about.
Yes, it is.
Is it 9%?
It is 30% provision in government that has been allocated for women, marginalized communities, and the persons with disability. Yeah, for procurement. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that is what I actually.
Yeah, so it means, because there are 3 constituencies there are women, youth, and people with disability. So it means basically each constituency has about 10% procurement in government services and products and tenders. That's what it means. Yeah.
Yes. So actually, there's a document that protects. Just a minute.
Okay. As we wait for Steve, anybody else has something to say? Enos?
From the clip you just shared, I was able to see a disabled woman having a lot of difficulty accessing the SRHR services. There was a part the service provider is coming out and trying to help the woman get the service. And if you look well the video, the husband or the partner seem to be not in good terms, seem to be not understanding the logics behind the services. So from the view of my point, the service providers have a task to take into account. We need to ensure that the both parties are able to get the logic, get the essence, get the importance of the services given both on the partners. And then again, it really calls for the intersectionality lens, where now we have organizations coming together to handle the sexual reproductive health right. This is whereby you get the women organizations, you get the youth organizations. We have other LGBTI organizations. We have PWD organization coming together to create this awareness, to handle issues of the reproductive, the sexual reproductive health right, so that the information goes around and everyone is able to understand, everyone is able to assess, everyone is able to get the real importance of the services services for the sexual reproductive health. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Enos. So, Judith, you were saying something before Enos cut you short.
Yes, Nelson. So I think 4 things. I have just observed 4 things. Sorry. The first one is I am assuming from just the clip, I am assuming that this lady, or rather the couple, was advised by the doctor to use protection, but clearly we can see that the man does not want. So we are, I think, seeing that most of the time we are assuming that it is the duty of the man to use protection, especially condoms, and vis-a-vis when it comes to the other contraceptives, where it is almost the duty of the woman to use and to actually access the services. But we can also see that even the condoms that the lady pulled out, the nurse pulled out, they are just male condoms and not female, meaning that unless the man uses the condom, then the woman is not protected. We can also assume that if the man refuses to use the condom, then again the woman would be protected. So say that the condom, the dispenser was even lower to the ground, where the woman would be able to pick. This one with disability, if she was able to pick, then if the man refused, then there's nothing she would have done. And that is also depicted by when the man actually lifts this woman up, so that he is unable to be able to receive the condoms. So there is then also, I think I have to mention about the dispenser where it was kept. They assumed that everyone would be able to reach, and it is I think something that we should put in our policies, that some of these things should be put in on a lower level, where even people living with disability would be able to reach. So for me, I think women living with disabilities are unable to make reproductive health choices, where the man is the one who's supposed to make the decisions. And I think at the end we saw the clip talking about chauvinism, and that is actually what is happening in the society today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Judith, you've literally explained the whole video. Thank you for that. So I'm going to skip Mercy at this point, and I will explain why later. And
why? Why? Maybe I can speak on just general terms, if you do not mind, about disability.
Sawa, just tell us what you've seen from the video.
Yeah, so so what I've seen for from the video is stigmatization, where there was a woman who was wondering, I think in French, I guess, was wondering how the other woman will be able to use condom. I think she doesn't believe that a disabled person should use or access these SRHR commodities. And the stigma and discrimination is something very common to disabled people. You hear them all the time, like, huyu kama hawezi ona atafanyaje, like this lady who preferably if with the husband, I don't know the economic status, but I would assume that she needs to have a wheelchair. I've also observed that the health facility, as we started, when there was someone, I think in the field, slashing, and we saw the consultation room, it wasn't friendly for a disabled person. I don't know if I saw a step, I'm not sure. So that looks at how equally they're engaged to access places of services. like this lady is on her fours, for lack of a better word, sorry. But you can't see things like ramps to help her, you know, be able to reach to reach out, because most of the facilities now with the sensitization on disability and in equal participation, you see people just building a ramp, but they do not consider where the disabled person will touch so that they can be able to move. Things to do with brailles, things to do with probably the distance, and also having healthcare workers who are friendly to persons with disability. And this I talk to keeping in mind that there are people with mental issues, there are people who are blind, there are also those ones who are deaf. It's only recently that we are trying to see the use of sign language and all this. And also lack of IEC materials for the disabled people. Just telling them that you can access this information, and if you're disabled, probably this and this is where you can be assisted, or even just having friendly services where probably the healthcare workers, instead of hanging the condoms outside the health facility for privacy matters, we know there are cultural, social norms and dimension issues around sexual reproductive health, would have had these condoms in our office, and probably, you know, while they're canceling these two, maybe they would have provided these services to her rather than putting it outside where everyone can see what is happening. So yeah, I know Nelson is trying so hard for me to not talk about legislation, but I'm looking at time, and I think it will be equally good to say that I think people with disability, a majority of them are not aware of their rights and also the legislation that are in place to protect their well-being. And probably these are the things that we need to go out there and sensitize people with disability. They do not know that the Constitution actually protects them and says that everyone deserves to have a right, yeah? Human rights, and right to the highest standard of healthcare. So it's not even a matter of us making noise as to what disabled people want. It's actually a matter of ensuring that if we have budgets, we have the 30%, which is for women, PWD, and youth, and this is usually also translated into the county budget or health budgets in generally. So we can fight for programmatic budgets where we budget specifically for people with disability. And somebody talked about intersectionality, where you look at someone has disability, but what more? What other disadvantages or advantages that this person has? Maybe it is like, for example, this woman, she has disability. She is further a woman probably who comes from a poor household or a poor background. And probably she's a woman who also has many other responsibilities to take care of, or it's a woman who has many other children, and because of her condition, she wants to take care of her family better economically because by trying to use contraception. So looking at those things when it comes to the county level. So how do we go and advocate for certain things to be included within policies? We are now getting into the electioneering period. The government, each government comes with its own manifesto. So how keen are we to ensure that these issues are taken into the government manifestos? The county soon, because we are coming to another electioneering period, will be developing their the county integrated development plans, their CIDP. How do we ensure that these things are integrated within those CIDPs? We are currently reviewing so many strategies and cascading down national policies that existed before. So how do we ensure that people with disability issues are captured there? So maybe probably I'll just end there so that I don't take much time. But yeah, that was my observation and a few remarks on my end. Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. And you have done exactly what I was trying to avoid. You have given us the whole legislation framework and the summary of like the policy and part of the discussion that we were looking at, and you talked about the rights enshrined in the Constitution, the right to the highest attainable standards of health and without discrimination, which is also under the Constitution, and you tried to talk about the entry points in county documents like the CIDP. And I think we'll explore a little bit more on that after the second video, which runs now. So let me just run the second video, we react to it, then we'll have the general discussion, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So this is my favorite video because I am an actor in it. So let me just play it. It's a little bit longer than the first. Here we
Tena. Messi mwenyewe Messi
Tukulete nini? China chapo.
Kuna story una story kibao, story ya kuambia. Ile kwa wasichana wawili. Mahali girlfriend yake na rafiki yake. Eti wapi? Eti kwa pharmacy. Pili ni footballer. Bodi inaingia ndani. Bodi inaingia dawa za malaria. Si msichana wako rafiki yake nani? Alikuwa amejifunika uso. Mimi pia najiweza. Kuna watu hawajui hizi vitu.
Utapeka.
Kwanza hii ni uzuri, jana watu wengi. Utalipa mogaka. Kirubu atakulipa. Unaweka siku moja anakuwa sosa hapa mbele.
Si mimi. Ni yeye.
Ngoja.
Kwa nini?
Hapana. Tutasikia baadaye.
Lakini mongaka unajua hii kazi.
You don't know your friend. She's different. Kama uko ndani. She is also different kama vile. Just talk to your mom. Just go and talk to your mom. At least, ambia mama.
Kuja hapa wewe.
So was the run okay, or shall we repeat it? Matthew, you look like you are trying to say something.
Actually, it's not for me to say that. Nani nafikiria tunafaa kurudia pengine kwa
I
wale
think it
wengine.
was okay.
Sawa.
The run was okay from your side, eh?
Yes, it was okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to copy the link and put it in the chat box too, so that we'll, if it's okay with you guys, you can copy paste this before the meeting ends. Kabla chat box ipotee. So this one is called Termination Terminated. So first of all, what do you guys think about the name? Is the name relevant? Like from the video, do you think the name has like an application of the video itself? Do you guys think so? Anybody? Termination Terminated.
Yes, I think so. I think it's very creative. So the termination of pregnancy was terminated by the mother. So I think it's really creative, yeah.
Aha. Just a moment. So anything useful you picked out from the video? Just like the first, anything useful, anything that stood out for you? Anything that you saw, maybe? Steve, did you watch the video?
Yeah, okay, I watched the video. Okay, so okay, the video is around access to first of all, my one thematic area was unintended pregnancy. Number 2 was unsafe abortion. So let me just say safe and unsafe abortion. And then number 3, okay, the right of accessing the services. So, okay, so okay, first of all, unsafe abortion accounts for almost a quarter of maternal death. And you know, the high unintended pregnancy and lack of access to safe and legal abortion is what is leading to high mortality and morbidity from the unsafe abortion. There's a lot of backstreet abortion that is happening on the ground, and these people, our adolescent girls and young women don't really, know the procedure that should actually be followed. As in, they don't know, like, the steps, the referral, the linkages. So at that point, wanatafutananga, see, we have the quacks and quacks chemists, and we, kuna so many counters in the grassroots level, and this is where our adolescent girls and young women go to procure abortion. of which to me it's unsafe. And you know, after the complication, that is when they come to the government facilities for the post-abortion care. And you know, article, is it article 26 section 4 subsection A, talks about how it's actually it actually gives rights for the for the health professional provider to actually to give. It's actually abortion is actually permitted when it is in the opinion of a health provider, number one. Number two is when the health of the mother it is at risk, and number three is what else? Okay, nimesahau about what the article says about. Yeah, but that is exactly what is happening on the ground. Uliona ikianza the guy with the pikipiki. I believe alikuwa mwaleta kwa nini where they usually procure nini abortion. So akamwacha kwa chemist, and you know, there were two. So I believe wa kwanza amechanuka. Maybe amekuwa, maybe the lady has been procuring abortion not even once. Ni mtu anajulikana, yeah, Mogaka, something like that. So, and you know, she was trying to actually, and alikuwa anaonyesha the other lady on, you know, how they got things and blah blah blah, but alikuwa mwoga. She was not even able to go to the chemist amwambie, you know, like, yeah, I really need to do this. So yeah, this is what is happening. So and after all, you've seen the guy mwenye amempatia mimba, you know, they usually make fun of this. So I mean, those people are in a baraza and they're actually discussing how the mission was successful, that, you know, he has been able to impregnate huyo msichana mwenye they believe amekuwa hard to get and something like that.
Yes.
So yeah. So and also
I'm just making it a little bit easier, sharing what you are trying to bring out from the Constitution on the screen here. That is the section that you are talking about, Article 26, Part 4, which I think is it's a little bit vague, and I think Mercy will shed a little bit light on this. So I had somebody speaking. Who was speaking just before I interrupted? Somebody was speaking. Steve.
No.
Okay.
I think you. Okay, I don't have much to say about the article, but say about that article of abortion. It's actually a bit general, and you know, it has not really talked, you know, like it has not really gone deeper to what exactly is meant. Nini. Maybe Mercy ataongelelea about it, but you know, the health professionals have not been trained on how to procure abortion yet. The Constitution also talk about the post-abortion care services, where, you know, after a woman has endured complications, that is where the health care provider comes in to procure post-abortion care. So it's a bit vague, and maybe we can talk about it later on.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else who watched the video wants to comment on it?
Can I comment? And probably I'll comment on strategies and leave out policies for, I think, later discussion. So I comment.
Maybe you can just talk about what stood out for you, what you picked from the video. Then you can extend the discussion a little bit to the policy. Then you can tell us what exactly these this opinion of a trained health professional is according to the constitution, because this law is still very, very controversial and it has put a lot of people in trouble.
Okay.
And I think there's some light that needs to be shed on it. So just tell us about this.
Also, I talk about it now.
Yeah, just talk about what you picked from the video, then you can extend the discussion all the way to that.
Oh, I can extend the discussion. So what I picked out from the first, I was commending you for the good job. Short stories always put a human face to the issues that the community is facing. And currently there's a lot of stuff about the young girl or the girl child in this case, where even in the just concluded, I think, Generation Equality Forum that took place, I think between 29th to 31st, they were really discussing about these gender issues, and adolescent girls were quite in front, were quite put in front in so many discussions. So what stood out for me is the fact that I first noticed there was one empowered girl. You know, we usually look at the negative and forget the positive, who was ready to take her friend to access these services and was very forward with the healthcare worker to just provide the services to the young girl. So you can say she's not afraid. She's empowered, but she needs more direction as when it comes to services. So such people who are very forward, it's important to pick them up as champions for issues like this. I also realized the inclusivity of a disabled person within the clip, which is very commendable. And also, as I've spoken earlier about the marginalized group, which include the PWDs, they need more sensitization on these matters, because to him it was just a story. And as men are, sorry to say that, they laugh about these issues and commend each other on how masculine they are. So you could see patriarchy really taking precedence there. You could, I think that is what I can talk about. So not to talk so much about these other issues, but Nelson, let me just, because my thought is usually interrupted when I have to do half things. I won't talk about policies, but what I can suggest some of the strategies. Is it okay if I go to this?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think some of the strategies that we can see that are needed here is in raising awareness and actually promoting dialogue. And we, sorry to touch on this, but I'll touch on it later. You can see how fast the community is to write off sexual reproductive health rights issues. And a good case is the reproductive health bill, which on his second account was met very hostile comments from people like us. So raising awareness and promoting dialogue around sexual reproductive health rights, which is inclusive of everyone within the community, is very important. And this can be achieved by using the most important people within the community. The border riders, there are researchers that have actually shown that they contribute a certain percentage, I won't be able to quote which one, in an intended pregnancy, because these girls, whenever they lack issues, they go to the person who takes them to places. We all have that number for a border person who we use for errands and also transportation. So using those members within the community, the gatekeepers, the traditional leaders, the religious leaders are the strongest opposers when it comes to these things. So looking at how do we engage opposition when we are trying to achieve these things. There's also the strengthening of sexual reproductive health research and documentation. If we do not have this documentation and data, then it is very difficult to inform on policies and even certain strategies that are needed within the country. We also just need to build capacity of healthcare workers so that they can be friendly to the youth. You could hear the healthcare worker asking that youth, hey, wewe tena, hata mimi nikiulizwa wewe tena, trust me, I will never come back there. So what is the language that they should use? Is the language simplified for these youthful people to understand? Is the timing really good for these youth people? Is there privacy? Is there confidentiality? Because if I come to your pharmacy and the next day in the market, women your topic, then I will not come there. And then also looking at building movements such as champions, having people whom can be your champions from different kinds of age groups or even backgrounds can really help. So the boda create a very good, especially in the rural areas, outside the urban, create when it comes to nimeingililia people's conversation, but I'm sorry, you can add if you have. Thanks.
Wow.
Thank you, Marcy. I was just taking note of what you're talking about in short notes. And so just to expand a little on the discussion, to Jadida first, then to Steve, who worked with Access. Tell us about your encounters with probably cases that have come up when with persons living with disabilities, maybe trying to access information, services, or any method that you have used to like solve an issue like that, maybe.
Okay. I just wanted to steal Marcy's train of thought. But also to kindly answer your question is that the Malkia Initiative, or in my work, I have not worked around access to abortion, so I would not really talk much about that directly. But just to continue, I think Marcy's, to continue and reiterate what Marcy was talking about, I think most of us have tried or felt uncomfortable while buying contraceptives in a store, and this is because in Kenya or in Africa, what we do, what you do actually is everybody's business. So you going to a store or to a pharmacy or to even a chemist in your local to buy contraceptives, you feel a little bit uncomfortable because, as Marcy said, tomorrow you might hear the word across, or if you go to the same store again and again, then they will definitely name you. You know, like how the health provider asked that girl again, you again, you know. So I know with statistics we can see at least 2 or 3 girls in Kenya have reported to have the intention to use contraceptives but did not because of the fear. And adolescent girls aged between 15 to 24 are afraid of getting contraceptives from the stores because they will be termed as promiscuous or seen as promiscuous. This making them the most, I think, vulnerable in the community. And not only this applies across even to the people living with disabilities. According to this research, like this is the most vulnerable, and that is actually what we see in this clip, where it is a younger girl who's going to access these services. So with the high numbers of pregnancies that we're seeing, because we know that abortion comes from this point of access, most girls would actually confess to lack comprehensive information and private access to contraceptives, and that is actually what leads to unintended pregnancies or even unsafe abortions. What would I recommend? Probably access to comprehensive reproductive health services and information, and even the products, the services itself, but in a more private way. So I think from that, Nelson, I was just trying to then bring in like pick from where Marcy was left it. And yeah, and of course, even when we push for the health bill, it's not to really at times push for the abortion services, but also for access to reproductive health care, which is the contraceptives before even we get to abortion. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jedida. So you're saying there's a health bill pending or something?
Yes, the reproductive health bill that is in the Senate.
Okay, at what stage is it? Is it already in parliament? Is it like just waiting for the signature of the president, or what are we looking at
No,
here?
so the Senate are yet to even, that bill has had issues because they think that the bill is pushing for abortion and LGBTQ. So it has had issues and it has not even passed some stages. So they've just been back and forth, and I think Marcy can tell us more about it.
Okay, thank you. I'll just
Sorry, I
take
can
note of
just
that.
come in before the thought for that goes out. So the bill is in its this is the second time the bill is being reintroduced. The first time it was introduced, and we have had, I think, so one thing that I will say about these bills and the bills that are introduced in the Kenyan space, legal space, we usually, most of the people who introduce these bills are private entities. By private, we mean these are not legislators themselves. Legislators become motion movers. So what the disadvantages with the person who introduces this bill might be a civil society organization, might be a network, might be a private whatever entity that is trying to push or its products into the market and all this. And woe unto us when it comes from the civil society space, because most of these people think that these are donor-funded or donor-driven, I think, what do I say? Vitu zao, I don't know. So they tend to actually step on it before it even goes to the first hearing. So the first time the bill was introduced, that was the time we really had projects on sexual education, and the government is very much against sexual education, introducing of sexual education into schools because of the misconception and the myths around sexual education, where people think that their children will be converted to LGBTQIs, their children will become prostitutes, there will be increased pregnancy and all these other things. And as much as the NGO have tried to advocate and sensitize on these issues, we still have opposition that I had mentioned. So the second time, again, it was introduced so that they refused the whole process. And you know, when a policy is denied, you have to go back again to the drawing board. You have to do a SWOT analysis, looking at your strengths, weaknesses, and all these other things, opportunities and the threats. And the threats seemed to override everything. So they looked at maybe doing an opposition kind of an analysis. They saw who was opposing this bill, and they tried to bring them on board. The biggest contention right now is the religious leaders and some of the CSOs, especially those who signed into the Mexico City policy that was really against abortion. So that is why up to now, again, it has drawn fire and it hasn't actually gone anywhere. So again, these main stakeholders have to go back to the drawing board and see what are these contentious issues within the bill, look at them and try to coin them in a simpler way that does not defy any existing law within the country. So as at now, the policy, I can say it is in the hands of the legislators, but it has been put on hold. So it isn't going anywhere. Most likely is that we will have to go back again to the drawing board. Yeah, thanks. And I think Jedida has also explained the same.
Okay, thank you. Steve, I beg to come back to your side and with regards to the two videos, have you come to a situation where you needed to provide services or information or commodities to a person with disabilities, and there was like a hindrance or something?
Okay. Before coming to that, the government actually uses a lot of money, resources to treat and manage complications of unsafe abortion and unintended pregnancy. Actually, of which also there's a lot that can be done in the prevention part to make sure that we don't, we actually prevent the complication or the outcome, and and actually putting a lot of effort in the on coming up with preventive mechanism that will be able to help into sorting out some of these issues. So in terms of access to the services, young people, AGYW, adolescent girls and young women, and also people with disability. Actually, these not most of this dynamic group of people. Not most of them come to access these services, and personally I've actually experienced in terms of I've experienced a lot of barriers when it comes to dissemination of information and also access to services. Not all actually there's this in each one of them. The Kenya and you need them the school health policy that actually puts a ban when it comes to access to both services and information that is related to SRH and the CSC thing in the schools. So it becomes very hard for this dynamic group of people to access both services and information from the schools. But again, we also have the adolescent and youth sexual productive health policy of 2015 that actually allows young people to access these services in the health facility. So there's a disconnect between the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, of which we need to. There's actually an urgent need for these two people to sit down and for the betterment of the community, and also to actually prevent some of these issues that can be bridged by just allowing young people to access these timely services.
Okay, thank you. So we are running a little bit late on time. We basically have tackled the three parts of the discussion session. So if there's anything left on policy, maybe we can look at what's currently available and in development. We have looked at the SRHR bill, which is still pending, and maybe those that will be needed in the near future. If there hasn't been any emphasis on disability, because we know this discussion has been silent for a very long time, it's not regarded as a priority still until this point, and there's a lot that still needs to be done. So we can look at suggestions like this. Then we can also look at entry points for partnerships. Then hopefully we won't have run out of time before Ondiege summarizes up the discussion.
Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah. What we have here is like 10 minutes to go. So I suggest that I sort of just jump in.
Okay.
I think more so like a rejoinder Amatu reaction to what our very able speakers have brought up. I wish I could see their faces. Actually, the purpose of Zoom is to see people's faces. Do you have faces, friends? tunaweza at least tomorrow I have a meeting in the street. I said, we zoomed. Who was that? Who is what? Enos Jedida Mercy. I think Onyembe yangu tu ni quickly to kind of pose as a question but also a rejoinder. Katika unajua Mercy ameongea kuhusu some of the strategies ambazo ame notice, and it's very exciting to see that she's actually realized or recognized the work that we're doing as people who are raising awareness and at the same time promoting dialogue. You know, because this work is creatively geared towards that. It's more like jolting a people to get out of those comfort zones to address issues that are sensitive, stigma and that. But part of the second gear of our work is to link this with policy. I think my question would be, Mercy, what kind of let's say advice would you give when it comes to identifying entry points for policy engagement? How do you think that the creatives and the awareness raisers, hope raisers, the awareness raisers, how do we link up with policy, and what are the entry points of getting them to mainstream this issue, to make the issue of disability and SRHR mainstream or a main agenda in the discussions or even the flow of the legal corridors? So what's your opinion on that? Mercy.
Okay, thank you. I'm here. I'm here. So first and foremost, when it comes to policy, I need to mention that you cannot do policy on your own. Advocacy and lobby requires so many players. And one of the entry point is through multi-stakeholder forums or stakeholder forums for that matter. So you look at what exists when it comes to forums. So what are the kind of technical working groups that exist in regards to sexual reproductive health? There are groups also that are actually when the Mexico City policy was introduced, there was a group, I think, led by She Decides, if I'm not wrong, that were pro-abortion, and they were trying to sign, I think, an agreement to ensure that abortion is accepted within the land. So there are TWGs, there are movements, there are stakeholder forums, there is a partnership with different NGOs whose, if you see their, in particular, like their vision is aligned here. There are alliances, like there's the Sexual Reproductive Health Alliance. There are different kind of bodies that coordinate NGOs, and this is where when you come in as an organization or DIS, you're able to say that, hey, this is how we do our activities, and these are the gaps that we've noticed, and how do we take this forward? So that's one way of doing it. So through already existing networks and alliances. There's also now forming the community movement, because for you to influence policy, you need numbers. You need numbers in terms of data, demographically, you need in terms of evidence, statistics, and you also need numbers in terms of how many people are also pushing you forward for the same agenda. So if you're very good in community movement building, and you create different types of movements, like you have the border borders, you have maybe sand harvesters, you have fishermen, you have just different groups within the community. And they also talk about, they have the same motive as you of pushing certain things into policies. Then you're able to get an ear with the legislative. So the numbers also matter. Another way is trying to do an analysis of the legislators that we currently are. You need to know who's your target to introduce your issue once you're successful, to introduce this policy to the parliament. There are those people who are listened to. There are those people who they have that presence, for lack of a better word. So once you spot this person, then it is easier to work with the person to introduce your issues to the parliament. And I need to say, policy is so expensive. You will use a lot of millions, because apart from just introducing the policy, the stakeholder forums, the meetings, yeah, the bellwether. Hey, Nelson, I trained you. I think I trained you. So you need to have a bellwether. A bellwether is someone who knows someone. Ule mtu wa unataka kufikia mheshimiwa, I know someone who knows someone. The bellwether then whispers nicely into the ear of the legislator. So you need to understand the governance and the structure. Who do you need to, if it is at the county level, who is your legislator to go to? And looking at this legislator of Mheshimiwa, which kind of committees does this person belong to? Because there are different committees. There's the health committee, the finance. So if you want to go to the budgeting, look at how influential they are in the financial committee. If you want to go into policies, then look at the different programmatic areas that you're looking at. Is this person in the health committee? Then how best can this person drive your agenda? So influence, your motion mover should be someone who is very influential. Number 4, Nelson has alluded to it, a bellwether. You need to have someone, if you want to reach the governor today, whom do you go to? Whom does the governor listen to? Juzi watu walijua vile Uhuru alikuwa president, there was a person who used to sell gazeti whom you could easily reach Uhuru through that person. So get to understand these people and know how best you can whisper to this person, because these people get a lot of proposals and they can direct you to, oh, hata nilipata kama hiyo, maybe a certain organization like Plan, AMREF, or whoever are doing the same thing. Then can you link together and do these things? So I will tell you, stakeholder analysis is very important. So that is your entry point as at now. But evidence, research and documentation is very, very important for you to your case, to put your case forth. I don't know if I've been helpful, but thank you.
Great, thank you very much. That has been very helpful. In fact, on the part that it is expensive, I just thought that you're not going to say that she put money aside to give politicians, because I know some of the tactics have been to also twist them and meet them in corridors and give them envelopes. But we are actually looking at the county level. How do we, because our work would like to sort of tackle this area of policy engagement, especially at the county level. Then it begins to become more prominent. But thanks a lot for that advice. Okay, back to you, Nyembe. I don't think there's much I can say. Did you still want me to finish up? Nyembe?
So basically you can, yeah, you can hear me?
Yes.
Basically, I think we are done. We are done with the majority of the discussion. So entry point for partnerships, Marcy has talked about the entry points for like working with policy.
Yeah, networking.
Yeah, networking is very key, and she's talked about evidence, research, and documentation being like the key points to be looked at. And the multi-sectoral approaches that she has talked about is something that we've been trying to also look at, and I think this is really the basis of advocacy, because
sorry, can I talk about the multi-sectoral approach? This is where you bring in different players within the different sectors. So we've realized that, yeah, education, health, water and sanitation, so that they give you more support when you're going to, but otherwise multi-sectoral or even stakeholder forums are enough. Thanks.
Thank you. And looking at it from the way she's explained it, we know that probably one entity cannot do like everything. So it needs this side to handle this issue and this side to handle this issue, so that collectively it comes as one strong policy that has no gaps. So I've given a summary. If you can check the chat box, I've just given a summary of the discussion, and probably we are exactly at 4:30 p.m. where we were supposed to be networking for the past 10 minutes now. But if there's anything that has been left unsaid, or anybody who has anything to add, we can explore this for the next probably 5 minutes. Then we just call it a day, right?
For me, I think I'll be sending you my invoice jokes anyway.
Please send it. I'll forward it to Matthew.
Just to mention, since the other guys are very quiet, as I said, I'm a consultant. I do trainings, I do strategies, I do all these things. So if you ever want to engage me at a different level, you can always reach out to me. Thanks.
Yeah, I remember you trained me on a lot of stuff. I'm not going to brag about it here, but I have your number and email.
Okay, I think Nelson, that's very exciting because we can talk about her later and see what areas of assistance can she be, to us. Yeah. I mean, I think there's great potential in that regard. So thanks, Mercy, for letting us know. Even though I can't see your face, I can't see Jedida's face. Who else is
You're going
here?
to see their faces after the meeting.
Looks like Nelson knows you, but he wants to personalize that. It's all right.
Working from home. Working from home
some
has,
of us have diras and all these things. We'll try next.
Working from home ni normal.
Okay. Yeah.
Sawa. So there are members who've been listening in, but they haven't spoken. So if there's anybody who has anything to say, let me just look for them physically. There's Cindy. I see Cindy. I see James Owade. I see Nelson, who are also part of our team. If there's any of you who has anything to say, maybe just wrap it up. Just say hi. Hata kama ni hi too. Yeah, Nelson, you started to speak.
I can say hi.
Okay.
Thank you, Enos, Jedida, and Mercy. I know Jedida and Mercy have known you in other areas, but thank you for being part of this.
Nigeria.
Hi, Nigeria. Nice to see you.
Hi, sorry, I was in another. I missed this. I was in another meeting.
It's okay.
Nice to hear from you, though. We were worried. We were a little bit worried.
No. I'll watch the video.
Okay.
Yes.
You see the way you have a lot of fans. Umeingia tu and guys are like, Nigeria.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This has been interesting. So I hope you'll join us for the next session next Thursday. That one I'll be present.
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
So Nelson, Waf, you were saying something?
I just wanted to say hi. The discussion has been fruitful. I don't have much to say here too.
Thank you. So I think we'll call it a day from here, and if we're gonna open this for networking, if there's something you are interested in which somebody else does, you can just throw a question to them and see how you can be of help to them or how they can be of help to you, and just know each other. Okay. So the pleasure has been mine, your host, Dance into Space, being the father of this discussion, and I look forward to the other discussion that will be coming up next week on Thursday. It will be discussing gender-based violence and rape. There are some two pieces there that are also very interesting, and I'll be sure to send in an email of invitation. So if you have time, please do join in, and we'll still have a wonderful discussion again. So that is it from my side.
And wonderful videos to watch.
So the links are there. The links are in the chat box. You can copy them before the meeting ends, because when the meeting ends, everything goes. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Our panelists, I'll reach out to you in a few. I don't think I have anything left that I have not said. Very grateful.
Sawa, asante sana. Stay safe, keep distance, wash your face.
So visitors can live at their own pleasure.
Okay, thank you. It was a pleasure.